Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pod TV's #1 do-it-yourself advocate show, Timeshares, Solutions, or Surrender. I am the senior executive producer of this show at Pod TV and one of the co-founders. And it's so exciting because today we are celebrating the 100th episode, and there's been so much progress made in this time since Irene started this. And one of the things that we've learned is sometimes when you get a lot of exposure for something, you also get a lot more attention and a lot more phone calls. But Irene has made a lot of progress with her team, Tarda, and the president, Sheila. So hi, Irene. How are you doing? I'm going to bring Sheila on because you guys have spent 10 years together working on this project. I've only been part of it for almost 2 years or over 2 years, but you have 100 shows under your belt. That's a lot of work.
Yes. And when I think about the journey that I have to begin with you telling me you wanted to do this show, and I just laughed and said, yes, that's fine. And then to receive that call on February 26, 2024, we're going live at 1:00. And my biggest concern and the reason I came into this process of trying to bring more clarity and transparency into timeshare is because of the harm done to the military. And I heard from someone in the military told they could refinance because they were military, and then went to an upgrade in another state in Florida and said, yeah, but you need more points, and almost had to involuntarily leave service because of the default they were forced into. So today at episode 11, I want to devote this show to our experience in Washington, D.C. And I've got a chair waiting here for a special guest my husband is going to provide his takeaway, and I'll provide mine. And I've asked Kim and Sheila to provide theirs. Now, I'm always afraid I'm going to forget. We're 25 minutes live and then 35 minutes pre-recorded. We appreciate Brian Rogers of Tug, and all the way down here, Mike Kennedy of Koala. We all know him, for first-time viewers as a resource for people. And then what we're talking about when someone contacts TARDA, we've had 130 families since January 1 reach out. I would like this episode 100 to be a informational segment about the Timeshare Transparency Act that has been introduced by Senator John Curtis of Utah, co-sponsor Adam Schiff of California, and a second co-sponsor, Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. And we're hoping to get some interest in the House as well. So with that, let me just go back one more second so I can bring this up again. But Sheila and I were talking before the show, and Kim, these provisions, one of them grant buyers a 14-day cancellation, but even that is not going to help in many of the complaints because you don't have access to the booking site until after sometimes 30 days. So a common complaint is being told that you can refinance it. Banks don't finance timeshares. The most common is you can rent it out and it'll pay for itself, or it's a rental investment, and you can't, or overpromised availability. So the other biggest culprit we have is the oral representation clause. Any statement that begins, the sales agent said, they'll direct you to your initials where you agreed you didn't believe anything the sales agent said, the oral representation or the non-reliance clause. So with that, we visited, I think, about at least a dozen offices. And I want to thank Rena from Delaware, who joined me after you two had left with the office of Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester. And we also had Karen from North Carolina join us when we met with a representative from Representative Aaron Bean's office of Florida. So want to give them a shout out for that. So with that, let's start with Sheila. In calling on all of these, some we had, I think, 4 or 5 scheduled, but we learned you could just barge in, and we barged in and ended up talking to one legislative correspondent that has followed through with having his researcher reach out to us. So what was your biggest takeaway, Sheila?
I think that the majority of the people that we saw did not understand what timeshare was, and they learned a lot. And we were happy that they just would talk to us, really.
And then, Kim, what would be your biggest takeaway?
I think it was nice to sit down. There were people who were willing to just sit down and discuss this with us. And though many of them did not know what was going on, they were willing to learn and say, okay, we'll carry this, raise this flag up with other people. But the fact that they would just meet with us at the last minute was probably my biggest takeaway, because I just didn't think you could do that. And the fact that there's some interest in it, because they were all shocked at what was going on. So, and we got Don, and we also got a guest for your 100th celebration. Your other director, Mark, is here. But
I just wanted to come and say hello and congratulations on your 100th anniversary of an episode and all along those lines, because I have done radio and now television through Pod TV for a number of years. So I know that it is not always easy to do, and all along those lines. And you are a great hostess, and you bring in some amazing guests on this very important issue, because I've always been a big supporter of advocacy and advocacy journalism and all along those lines. So you've been doing a great job. So I just want to come on board and say congratulations. You are truly amazing, and you are doing a great job. And like I said, I come from a family of activists. So I just wanted to thank both you and Sheila for this amazing work that you're doing, because I do know that Sheila's doing a great job as well, and that she's like your right-hand lady and everything in that line. So y'all are both doing some amazing work, and I have a great deal of respect for both of you ladies and the work that y'all are doing.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. You've said in the past a number of times that we're one of your most popular shows.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit more about where that thought came from?
That thought came from just watching the reactions that we get on Facebook, that I get even sometimes when I do cut ups and all along those lines, because we use AI and we'll sometimes cut up segments and all along those lines. But a lot of times people are concerned about this issue and all along those lines. So it is definitely one of the shows that gets a lot of traction. I think Kim has noticed that as well, because I know that I'm not the only one that does that use of AI and all in that space. But it is one that, whether it's Nick's, because mine isn't all that active now, but whether it's Nick's LinkedIn or other LinkedIn platforms and other parts of the social media, that we get a lot of people that are have been hit by this issue, because it is an issue that impacts a lot of people. So they are definitely very much aware of it, and it's even mentioned in some of our other shows. I know I've mentioned it on a couple of my shows on occasion. Kim has definitely mentioned it on World Edition. I know you've been on World Edition a few times as well. So it is a show that resonates not just with the network and the audience, but also with fellow podcasters.
Yes. Well, that's great. And I'm going to have my husband, Don, here share his takeaway.
Yeah. Oh. Hi, Don.
Hello. Thank you, lovely wife of 45 years.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad to be here. Usually I'm off camera and see the show later. But Washington trip was a big eye-opener for me. It was something that I didn't realize how important Washington is to many people. There were crowds everywhere. In fact, one time we had to wait an hour and a half just to get in the door.
Yeah.
And then we quickly learned that if you come early, you don't have to wait that long. So that was a lesson. But the big thrill to me was actually meeting and greeting John Curtis, the senator of Utah. We met and greeted him, shook his hand. They took his picture, and then I thought, oh, we could ask a few questions. And his right-hand man just ushered us right out of the door. So they're very, very busy. And if you want to talk to them, you have to really make appointments and go through their policymakers. The other situation is the security in Washington is very, very tight.
Yeah.
Both in the House and the Senate. And it's tight because you go in, you must empty your pockets completely. And for men, if you have a large belt buckle, it will trip the monitor.
Or if you have high heels on.
Yes, that's right. Right. High heels will set it off. Important safety tips.
Yeah.
I have steel heels.
And I think one of the times I went through and forgot to take my glass case out of my shirt pocket, and naturally it went off, but it goes off silently, so you don't have to be embarrassed by a large buzzer.
Yeah.
The other thing that impressed me is how organized it is. Every time you go into the building, like the House building, you go to the directory. And it's not just a little list. It's a great big long thing. And the print was so small, I couldn't read it really. So
Next time we'll take magnifying glass.
but if you want to find somebody, there's no trouble. You just look up their name, and right there you'll get the office, you'll get the floor, and elevators will take you up. Now, when you start walking down the halls, it's very important to realize that every office is pretty much the same with welcome, please come in. And they mean it.
Yes,
They mean it. They're not just wanting to shake your hand, they actually want to talk to you. And so
That's
we
a
went in,
Congress.
we went in many offices, and we talked to a lot of people who were very friendly, and they were sincere, and they also had knowledge that you never thought about.
I know.
These are business cards
Yes.
that I got from the
If I flew
legislative
on a
aid.
plane, I would have been overweight.
Well, there's a
Exactly.
reason. There's a reason they get the business cards, because you can't talk to some of the people on the business card, but you can send them an email or sometimes even give them a phone call.
Yeah.
What really helped us was before we actually made the trip and visit, Irene had talked to like Leah and a few other policymakers that were on the staff. And they actually had arranged for us to meet other policymakers so that we did not have to stay out front and sit on the sofa, so to speak. But we were allowed to go into the office. And of course, the senator and representative is not there. You won't be lucky to see them.
Well, what you do is when you go to, and this ties in nicely with what we want this show to be for somebody that is contacting us for the first time, that they're quite easy to reach, that if you go to their website, it's either email or request a meeting. So that's day in and day out calling these offices, asking who requesting a meeting. So that's where sometimes you need to be within the district to request a meeting. So Sheila, you requested a meeting with your representative, Paul Tonko, and we were able to meet with his aide that was
Yes.
very receptive, and we're hoping, we'll have some things go forward with that. But it was an eye opener, and then that Mark brought up something too, where he talked about the number of people. So one of the most important things is go to tarda.org, go to our blog, and if you scroll down, it says track the bill, and if you click call or write your members of Congress, you can put in your address and it will call up who you should write to. So I just today amended the April newsletter. Right after it was sent out the next day, Senator Curtis was questioning the chairman of the Federal Trade Commission, Andrew Ferguson, about timeshare. And the response from Chairman Ferguson was there has been no increase in the number of complaints, but there has been a significant increase in the alleged rate of loss. Now we're trying to figure out what kind of political or legal speak that is. Does that mean how quickly or the amount of money? I can say that it's not unusual. We've had a couple over 200,000 lost reporting deception, and what I feel, and as Sheila can comment on this, is people don't think to file with the Federal Trade Commission. So whatever numbers that they're reporting, as I stated on the updated TARDA blog today about the bill, that's a small portion, I feel, as to the number of people that are harmed. There's one sales agent, and Sheila will remember him. We received 24 complaints about this agent. He was one of many, and he earned $2.4 million a year, which he stated in a lawsuit, and admitted in the lawsuit that he had created reasons why people need to buy that were not accurate. So I hope that we can get that across to anyone reaching out to us, because when someone reaches out, we reach out to the resort, and then we reach out to the Attorney General if denied, and you get so tied up with that. The FTC people, I think, are more likely to reach out to the Better Business Bureau, and he did mention that the Better Business Bureau did report that they've received thousands of complaints. So Thank you, special guest.
Oh, one last.
Okay, you're allowed.
I think it's very important when you go to Washington, D.C., you go in a small group. Never go yourself.
Yeah.
Because like we had a small group, Kim and Sheila and Irene and me and Karen and who was the other? Rena. Rena. And it was very, very more receptive when all of us went in to the offices and said hello and start talking. So anyway, thank you for listening to me. I could go on for probably another hour. But
these episodes, where
It
you
was a good
this
trip.
has nothing to do with supplements and everything like that I know about.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
It
you.
was a
Bye,
good
Don.
trip.
Thank you.
It was a trip that
You're
you could go
welcome.
on and on about, because we spoke with so many, and I'm sure
Yeah.
Irene kept count, but we spoke with so many senators and representatives, some who at the last minute said, yeah, come on in to share with us what you've got going on. And I just think the progress that has been made with everything, from all of the work that you both have been doing to all of a sudden having a bill. I mean, how happy can you be about that? To now, that things are moving forward with legislation, but now you have the FTC talking about it. And there was a lot said in that meeting. You should watch it. It's really, really interesting to watch how they approach this at the FTC level. And I hope that they do take into consideration, just because they pass a bill, that they also pass the enforcement for that bill, because a lot of times they'll pass a bill, but there's no means to enforce it. So what good is it? It's like, to me, it's just a piece of paper at that point. It says you can't do this, but what happens when you can't? And what recourse do the people have? And I think that that's very important.
Right.
Well, and what I need to mention is the importance of organizations submitting letters of support. So AARP, if you go to the click the Curtis box, there is a letter from AARP that says that seniors are disproportionately targeted. There's a list of about 20 military organizations that have filed amicus briefs in support of lawsuits filed against 5 developers for violating the Military Lending Act. So we're having our veterans contact some of those. And we actually have Bill in Illinois, where his Rotary Club refitted Senator Duckworth's home when she came home from service. So we have some volunteers that are, and we have a special announcement. Oh, Kim, how could I forget the special announcement? So we'll start with the good news first. We have on the show next week, incoming board member Carl Hansen. Carl Hansen has a Bachelor's of Science in Legal Services, and he has a master's degree in criminal justice. He has published 3 books. I can see Mark is like, okay, we need to get him a TV show. And 2 of his books are you ready for this? Victimization of the Innocent.
Oh, wow.
Gotta get that book.
Yeah, and The Never Ending War, Plight of the Homeless Veterans.
Yeah.
So we're excited to vote him in on the board this month. And Sheila, go ahead and share with us your news.
Because of some illnesses that I have and some other family situations, I have to step down as president of TARDA, and I will be doing that within the next coming months. There's some things that I need to wrap up, but I still want to be involved. And so you're stuck with me for a little bit. And Irene is our rock as far as being out front with everything. And I so love her so much. I've been together with her for 10 years.
We've held up signs together.
Yes, we have. We protested, held up signs. We also we co-founded TARDA with 3 other people, and so Irene and I right now are the only co-founders left. So
Brandon was with us just a few weeks ago because he kind of got drafted to do our website and never really wanted to do it in the first place.
That was like me. I got drafted to be president. I went on there and it says, we voted you as president. Okay.
If anybody wants to be president, please reach out, because otherwise I think I'm going to have to be the one standing.
Draft you with all those guys.
But she's our front person and is excellent at what she does. I have always been in the background and tried to help with whatever she needed, and take care of all of our books and taxes and all that stuff. And I am going to miss it. I love talking to people and trying to help people.
And we'll still keep you in the loop for
yes,
here
you will.
You'll still be in the loop and everything like that. I just had a great idea.
You don't dissolve, but the wizard in The Wizard of Oz, the wizard is really behind the scenes.
No,
like me. I mean, I'm out in front a lot, but I go behind the scenes to do everything.
Yeah.
I know that y'all are winding down, but I just had a great idea. I think that Kim will like this idea as well and everything, because I saw this film by about Carl Bean, who was one of the founders of the Minority AIDS Health Project. So there was a major documentary film festival here in Durham, North Carolina. So I've got to know over several years a lot of documentary filmmakers. So I think that TARDA needs to have a documentary made about it and everything like that. So I'll reach out to my documentary filmmakers, because I think that y'all need to have a film made about you.
Yeah.
Well, you
These
know what?
women
It would
are a
have to be
blast.
before 10 or 15 years from now, because who knows if be
Right.
around.
10 years together. They are a blast to be with, but they are productive. They have made huge progress in being able to be part of the legislation, because I think it was the exposure that they were giving out there to everybody. But you two are amazing. And I just want to say it's been an honor working with both of you. But I also want to give some credit to your husbands, because I've met both of them. And I think that they are very, very wonderful men. But it takes a good partner in your life to allow, I shouldn't use these words, but that gives you the space that you need to be able to do what you do. And you couldn't do that without someone who's behind you, holding your back. I've seen them both holding up signs. I have seen them support you in every way, and I'm sure it's not easy on them. But I just have to say, a good partner in your life makes a big difference when you're doing something like this. So kudos to Tom and Don.
Yes, thank
And
you.
well, it's the family, right? But I
Yeah.
want to say it's been great holding up the signs. I hope you guys don't stop. I hope we still get to reconvene in certain areas and say, hey, let's get together. And it doesn't have to be a protest. What we did with the legislation was fun. That was fun.
Yes, it was very nice.
I think
It
we're
was
way
work.
past time.
We are, but
Okay.
that's okay. We know how to alter it. So
Yeah.
let's give our final, what would you say for 100 episodes, Sheila? And as you're leaving, what would you say to someone who wants to pick this up?
Oh, I would say this is very informational for people, and that always contact tarda.org, and don't go to an attorney first or an exit company.
All right. Irene, for your 100th episode, what would you say to everyone going forward with what we're doing?
Well, this is our show, not my show. And the 200 guests that have been on here, I am constantly, someone calls me and I say, watch this episode. I asked one person a few days later, did you watch any? I watched till 3 a.m. and then I tried to go to sleep. And then I got up at 5 o'clock and I watched another one. It's just such a good feeling to know you're not alone.
Yes.
Right.
It
It
is.
is. And,
And we want
everyone,
to continue it.
Yeah.
We
thank
want
you. And
200 episodes.
please
Yeah.
continue to help supporting us. If you have a problem, don't be afraid of it. Contact tarda.org. They are a great team. I don't think Sheila's 100% leaving. I think she's going to stick around
In the
somehow or another,
background,
because
yeah.
we need that wisdom, right? That wisdom's very important. So just because somebody steps away doesn't mean they disappear. Nick and I know that because we've been doing this for 10 years as well. But everyone, thank you for joining us on Timeshare Solution or Surrender. And until we see you next Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, stay safe. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.